Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Deacon Hoover Radio Network. This is Adam, your host that's just kind of here. The man that's really in the building, though, is the Deacon of Real Estate, Alex Deacon. Alex, how are we doing today, sir?
I'm doing good, Adam. I am doing awesome, and it's good to see you.
It's nice to see you, sir.
And we're going to be talking about... We just talked about in a previous podcast, literally like 5 seconds ago, right?
Well, of course. It was wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah.
I think it might have been yesterday when we recorded it, but maybe.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Wink,
Oops. We discussed when should I be looking, where should I be looking for the deals, right? When, where.
Yep.
So what we're going to discuss now as a segue to that is where should I be buying my next property? Like what does my next investment look like? What should it look like? What areas should I invest in? Should I invest in an area that's with a super high average income, or should I invest in an area that's a low average income, high crime, low crime area, good school district, bad school district? So we're going to get into that because that's all going to depend on how much risk you're willing to take, how much money you have to spend, how much time and patience you have. Because there is no, if it was an answer that was in one paragraph, then it would...
There's not an exact user's manual.
There's no simple answer.
Right.
So we'll get into that. So where do you want to start, my man?
All right, so let's see. So say I'm somebody that, you know what, I'm just starting to get into it. We talked about killer deals. Let's, right off the top, just then we can branch over into regular transactions and investments that people are looking for. But what would a killer deal look like? Because we did talk about that, and I guess that's one that, guys, you're not going to find these killer deals right off the bat. This is something that you'll slowly, once you get your instincts down, once you get your own knowledge down, and once you get your feet underneath yourself, then you'll be able to find these killer deals. But what do they typically look like?
That's a tough one to answer. What do they typically look like? Okay. Holy cow!
I guess what's the best way, and not without facts or without figures, money wise and stuff like that. Yeah. One of the best deals that you ever had that came out, you went in thinking I'm not going to get much out of this. Then all of a sudden it was like, whoa, jackpot! Is there one that sticks out?
It wasn't like, again, I don't make hundreds of thousands of dollars on flips. Even if I make $50,000, it's extremely unusual. Okay. So I did one in an area, it's called Aliquippa, which is kind of a depressed area. That's kind of where you're from.
Where I grew up, yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. I mean, so some of Aliquippa is nice. Some of it's not nice at all.
It's a dirt hole. Yeah, I grew up in Hopewell. It's Aliquippa, Hopewell. It's all.
The place I bought, literally 3 nice streets. And then if you go 4 or 5 streets up, it's just nasty.
Sheffield area?
I don't even know, honestly. Okay. I don't do a lot of purchases out there.
Okay.
But anyway, I went out and looked at an agent said, hey, go take a look at this. She sent me pictures. I looked at it. I'm like, whoa, these are really nice. I did a real quick research on values in the area, like what sold on those 3 streets. Mm-hmm. And I didn't necessarily know those 3 streets were good. I just picked streets that were close. And they all seemed to be selling at $80,000 to $90,000. Well, I picked this house up for like $20,000. So then I got in my car and went and looked at it because you can only get so much from what somebody tells you, and you can only extrapolate so much from pictures. Right. And you have to see it because you got to see what the foundation looks like. You got to see what the house next door looks like, what the house behind it looks like. Is there a garbage dump right behind the house? Is there train tracks right behind the house that come back every 4 days, every 4 hours? So I went out and looked at it right away. I didn't wait. I had to go look at it right away because it seemed like a pretty good deal. And I do that a lot, and a lot of times I waste my time, but you're never going to know until you get there. But that's why I do that research up front, right, before I get in my car. Because if I had 3 leads a week, or 5 leads a week, or 5 leads a day, whatever, come in, and I went in my car and looked at every one, I would have no time for anything else. And chances are, out of those 15 deals, none of them would be any good. So after I did my research and I saw the pictures that was sent to me, I went and looked at the house and it was a slam dunk. Made the offer, full price, got it, put like $20,000 into it, and this is not a good area, remember. And I sold it in like 2 weeks and made close to $30,000.
Wow!
I love those. Don't come around that often.
Right.
It was in and out, not a lot of rehab, just a great deal, and it fit into my A, B, C, D scenario. Right. A was I was going to make 30, and I did. Which that doesn't happen all the time. B, I was going to make 15 to 20. C, I was going to make $5,000 maybe, or just rent it out because it would have been a decent rental, but it's not maybe something I want to hold on to. And that was C. And D would have been, my D scenario on that one was probably a break even, because it was going to be really hard for me to screw that up and lose money.
Right.
And that one happened to work out really well. So the question was, where should I be looking? Right, that's the topic.
What does a killer deal look like?
What does a killer deal look like?
That's a great outline. I mean, just kind of digging through, finding something $20,000. You kind of have
in
an
a
idea.
bad area, right? No one would ever look there.
There you go.
Whoever knows like the Pittsburgh area or surrounding counties, they're gonna, as soon as you say Aliquippa, they're gonna be like, no, I don't want to buy that. Well, maybe think twice, because I made $30,000 there. And I bought places in, I'll give you another example. And it just seems like when we do these sessions, Adam, I'm talking about just real life examples, but that's the best way I can get my point across.
That's the perfect, your experience is what's really going to help those that are listening.
So this one was, I did this with a partner. He does excellent contracting, and he was the contractor on it. We went in on it together. It was a house in Scott Township, was this, really good school district, great suburban little neighborhood, fantastic. So we did the project. He did a fantastic job in rehabbing it. The couple mistakes I made was, we should have spent more money on the kitchen. It was a 4-bedroom house, but had this really small kitchen. And that was just bad. It did not work out well. That was the first complaint that people would come up with. So in order to do that kitchen the right way, it probably would have cost us another $10,000.
Okay.
But it would have been well worth it.
Okay.
Because every month that we had that thing on the market was, I think, costing us, with the high interest rate we were paying on the loan and taxes and so on and so forth, it was probably costing us like almost $2,000 a month, right? So if it was on the market 5 months, I just blew $10,000 right there. If I'd have had a bigger kitchen, maybe it would have sold 3 months sooner.
Gotcha. Okay.
The other thing is, when I did my evaluation, and I do a lot of these, and I still make mistakes, I priced it too high. So, for instance, I think we priced it at like $270. And the first week, we had an offer of like $230.
And this is in Scott Township, guys, not Aliquippa. So yes.
And I said, nah, I'm not going to. I'm like, literally, it's been on the market a week, and you're going to offer me $230? So I said, no. Well, that was the only offer we got for 4 months. We kept reducing the price. The same objections were, not a big enough yard, too high in price, too small of a kitchen. So we ended up selling it 5 months later for like $223. Okay, so we not only did I sell it for $7,000 less than what I had on the table on week 1, but I lost $10,000 in holding costs. So that mistake cost me $17,000.
Wow.
We ended up making like $11,000 on that house, and it was a huge project. New driveway, $50,000 in rehab in the house. Huge project. So if I would have, and again, this is how you learn, but going back, if I could go back in time, I would have, number one, made that kitchen bigger. Mm-hmm. I would have priced it at $259.9.
Okay. With
the bigger kitchen. Probably would have sold it in 2 weeks for $250. I would have turned that $12,000 profit probably into $40,000.
Wow.
That's how sensitive every little decision can be.
And again, that's why it's okay to make mistakes, and that's the importance of surrounding yourself with knowledgeable people too, because then you learn those instincts. It happens to you once. Hopefully, it doesn't happen to you that second, third, fourth, or fifth time.
Yeah, that's how you can make the decisions really quickly now on should I buy it or shouldn't I. So what does a good investment look like? Well, the first thing I would do as an investor is figure out what kind of budget you're working with. That's number one. How much money do you have to invest? Because that's going to dictate where you look. If you have $30,000 to invest, you're not going to look in Scott Township. You're surely not going to look in Sewickley or Mount Lebanon.
Right.
So just eliminate maybe 2/3 of all the neighborhoods in Allegheny County in our area. Mm-hmm. So, number one, how much money do you have to spend? This is going to help you hone in on where to find those good deals and what they look like. Next question is, how much rehab can you handle? What is your experience level? Because you're not going to buy something for $10,000 that needs $20,000 in rehab because your budget's $30,000 if you don't know what you're doing. Right. So maybe you just want to go buy a house that just needs carpet and paint and some landscaping, right? You can do the paint yourself, or you can hire a painter, right? But you don't have. It's not rocket science. You can do the landscaping yourself or hire a landscaper. And how many flooring and carpeting companies are out there? I mean, just get a couple estimates and go with a good company. Okay. So starting out, how much money you have to spend, and what is your level of knowledge on the rehab side of things? Okay, that's going to dictate where you look and what you look at. So you're going to limit yourself to a certain geographical area based on how much you can buy a home for, and then once you find those areas and you hone in on that specific area, you're going to look at properties that need the amount of work that you can handle. Okay. Now, for myself, it doesn't matter for me. It does matter. Okay, I'll give you an example. Again, I was looking at a hospital over in West Homestead. Okay. Just looking at it. I was just interested. I'm like, a hospital for sale. So you could literally get this old hospital for like $100,000. Right?
Wow.
It's a big building, too. So, and I was in it, too, once before. So, I threw it past a couple of my partners, and they kind of told me what I knew, and they said, you realize how much money that's going to cost to rehab. It probably would make more sense to tear it down.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, because first of all, it's West Homestead, so that particular area where located in Homestead wasn't in super high demand. Okay. So what we're going to do with it? We're going to turn into apartments or condos. We turn a place like that into condos will cost you millions, but there's no market for it. So the only reason I was looking at it because it piqued my curiosity, but I didn't literally spend hours. I just spent a few minutes just dreaming a little bit and then calling my partner, and he just talked me off the ledge, and he said, look, get real. So the reason I tell you that is to focus on reality and what you have in front of you now as far as money, time, and resources.
So
and don't focus on what you want to do in the future, because just focus on what's in front of you now. Okay. You can get to that $1 million project, but not today.
And just to this might veer off a little bit, but I kind of want to piggyback on something we just spoke about with the hospital location. Anybody that's familiar with the Pittsburgh area might know where the Pittsburgh Mills is. If you're from out of state, it was just a mall, basically a Mills mall that was here. But recently it got sold. I think it was like last year it got sold for, I believe it was like $150 or something like that. Somebody purchased it. An entire amount. Now, granted, they also accepted the all the debt that came with it. It also accepted, so now this was a property when you really think about it, people were going, "Yo, do you want to buy a mall for $150?"
Yeah.
Think about all the other expenses that were coming through with that. So guys, everything is always going to somewhat seem sunshine and rainbows on the outside, especially when it comes to investing in, if it comes to like a more commercial, location versus a residential. So just be a little wary and cautious.
Yeah, when it's you hear this all the time. If it looks too good to be true,
probably is.
Probably is. Yeah. But yeah, that's an example of what limits me on what I look at. So I don't look if I see a strip mall for sale, I don't dive into it. Because maybe it is a fantastic deal, right? Maybe that $150 deal was phenomenal. But my learning curve, right? And it would be tremendous on that. I don't know anything about malls.
Right.
I don't have the kind of money it takes to invest and take that risk. Now, those folks might have made a whole lot of money, but that's what they do.
Right.
I know what I know, and that's single family, small multifamily, and I'm good at it. And I'm just going to stick with that because there's only so many days in your life, and you just can't be good at everything. So, and
that's another thing is work at your comfort level. Don't try to be something that you're not. You could always get there, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but we all have delusions of grandeur from time to time. I guess always. And I know I'm the guy that's always.
You need those dreams.
Yes.
You have to
think big.
Yeah, you have to think big, but then you have to step back and think in these small chunks of what it's going to take. Here a good example is. When you're walking up a staircase and it's completely dark, and you take one step at a time, and you're very slowly going up the staircase. You don't